Hey guys, it's Jay here. Let me take you through two tables in IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. So on test day, you open up your test booklet and this is what you see. Upon first glance, it looks very intimidating and very confusing. What we need to do is analyze it. Let's spend, I don't know, like 30, 40, a minute looking at this closely. The first thing we want to do is read that first sentence because it actually describes what you're looking at. The tables below show the sales of fair trade labeled sugar and wheat in 1999 and 2004. Okay, let's look closely at this. So this table is for sugar sales. This table is for wheat sales, okay? Here are the countries, UK, Switzerland, Denmark, Belgium, Sweden, same down here. So we're looking at the same countries. The sale of sugar, and here we've got the sales in 1999, and here we have the sales in 2004. It's the same years here and here, fine. And the sales, the way it's said in the table is millions of euros. So in 1999, the UK spent or sold 1.5 million euros worth of sugar, okay? In 2004, they spent money on 20 million euros worth of sugar, okay? So you can see there's been a large increase from 1999 to 2004. Okay, cool. Let's go through the plan now because we want to structure it up according to our basic structure, which is the summary sentence. We're going to do main trends here because we do have two time periods. We can talk about increases over time or decreases over time, or stability over time, or fluctuations over time. But we can also talk about key features here because if we look at this, we can start to see some key features. I'll take you through my response in a second. And the third paragraph, we're going to dig deep into the data and we're going to compare countries' sales between the two products in the two time periods, okay? On test day, this is what my response would look like. I actually wrote 205 words here. It's probably not necessary, but it was a complex one, so I wanted to dig into it a little bit. But it's still nice and clear. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to rewrite that graph or table description in our own words. The table description says, the tables below show the sales of fair trade labeled sugar and wheat in 1999 and 2004. My conversion of this into my own words says, the tables provided display the amount of sales in millions of euros of fair trade sugar and wheat in 2 different years. The data covers 5 European countries, the UK, Switzerland, Denmark, Belgium, and Sweden. Okay, so I've added a little bit more detail there, including the names of the countries. That's fine. I've actually got 2 sentences. That's also fine. I couldn't quite coordinate the one sentence, so I split it into 2 to make my life easier. Now I move into the overview paragraph. And it says, it can be seen that overall, sales of fair trade labeled sugar increased over the time period, and that, similarly, sales of fair trade wheat also escalated, bar Belgium and Sweden, meaning that they all escalated or increased, except for Belgium and Sweden, which you can see here that it went from 1.8 to 1 and 2 to 0.9, while all the others increased. Okay, now what I did is I looked at this and I thought, okay, I'm going to report on some relevant, interesting data. And I thought the UK was particularly interesting because, first of all, with sugar sales, it had massive increases. And also with wheat sales, it had massive increases as well. So that's worth describing in detail. So I said, in the UK in 2004, sales of wheat exceeded sugar by more than double, with a figure of 47 million euros. This was by far the largest amount in both years for all categories and tripled the UK sales of the same product in 1999. So I've used some interesting language here, by the way. I haven't just picked out statistics. What I've said is, okay, 15 to 47, well, that's more than doubled. And then I've said for all and tripled in the UK in the same product in 1999. Fine. So I've also picked out a statistic there. Okay? So I've written that in a really readable, nice way. Generally, all countries showed growth in the sales of fair trade wheat except Sweden and Belgium, where sales decreased by 1.1 million and 0.8 million euros from 1999 to 2000 respectively. Okay? So here I've said, okay, they've all increased except for these two countries here. This one decreased by 0.8 and this one 1.1. Okay? So again, I haven't used the statistics here. Instead, I found a more interesting way to show that using a little bit of subtraction. And then I've said sales of fair trade sugar in Switzerland doubled from 3 million to 6 million euros in the years shown. But the UK had the biggest increase in sugar sales from 1.5 to 20 million euros. The lowest sales for sugar was in Sweden in both years. Okay, lowest was in Sweden in both years. Denmark sold the least wheat in 1999. Here we are back down here. But by 2004, this position had been taken by Belgium. So Belgium actually sold the least wheat. So again, there's many different ways you can do this. I've just picked out interesting data from that table talking about the most and the least and the biggest growth periods and whatnot. And I've structured it up nicely. I've thought also about how to say it by not just picking out statistics, by using words like doubled or tripled or halved. I've done some interesting things there and written most importantly, written a readable third paragraph. It's not too data heavy, for example. Cool. So let's just quickly recap the scoring. For task achievement, to get a 9, that means you wrote directly about the image, identified main features, and compared relevant data. In other words, you picked the most interesting data. Structure, you effectively used a logical structure. Your response was cohesive and your ideas were linked logically. In other words, it flowed from one sentence to the next, from one paragraph to the next. Vocab, you used a wide range of sophisticated words naturally, accurately, and appropriately. If you do spot a word that you're overusing, try to think of a synonym. Grammar, same thing, needs to be accurate, and you also need to think about a wide range of structures. Don't use the same sentence types each time. Use some simple ones, use some complex sentences, use some different ways to say the same thing. Cool. Thanks for watching. Hope that was helpful. Now go ahead and do all of the, read the sample, and you can also go and submit an assessment if you have that in your package. Thanks for watching.